Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today that I've learned the hard way. There's a secret to success, happiness, and peace of mind that I want to share with you. But here's the thing. Once you know this secret, keep your mouth shut. The power of silence. Silence is often underestimated in a world that glorifies constant talking, sharing, and overexposing every detail of our lives. But the truth is, there is profound power in silence. Not only does it allow you to protect your peace, but it also becomes a strategic tool that can propel you to success, mental clarity, and inner strength. In today's fast-paced society where everyone feels the need to share their opinions, ideas, and plans, the ability to stay silent when needed becomes one of the most powerful skills you can cultivate. Think about the times in your life when you've spoken too soon, shared too much, or exposed a little too much of your personal journey. You might have felt the sting of someone questioning your dreams or doubting your ability. The moment you open your mouth, you give others the chance to weigh in on your life, your vision, and your ambitions. And not everyone's opinion is going to be helpful. Sometimes it can be downright discouraging or distracting. People will often have their own biases and experiences that lead them to give advice that doesn't align with your purpose. This is where silence comes into play. Silence, in its simplest form, is a protective barrier. It shields you from external judgment, negativity, and distractions. When you stop oversharing, you stop giving people the opportunity to cloud your judgment or plant seeds of doubt. By remaining silent, you are essentially taking control of your mental space and protecting your vision from being tainted by voices that don't understand your journey. This is crucial because the more you expose, the more you give others room to comment, critique, or even criticize what you are doing. And each comment, even if it's not malicious, has the potential to influence your thoughts, your confidence, and your self-belief. Moreover, silence has a powerful way of preserving your energy. Every time you speak, especially about your goals and aspirations, there is a transfer of energy. You either receive energy from others in the form of support, motivation, and encouragement, or you risk draining yourself with negative energy. The more you speak, the more energy you give away. Imagine how much energy you could preserve if you only spoke when necessary and only shared what truly mattered. Every word has the potential to either uplift you or pull you down. If you're constantly sharing everything with others, you risk inviting unnecessary drama or draining yourself with feedback that doesn't serve you. By embracing silence, you also create space for deeper reflection and understanding. When you speak less, you listen more, not just to others, but to yourself. The quiet moments allow you to tune into your own thoughts, to recalibrate and to realign with your purpose. In a world that's constantly noisy, true clarity comes in the moments of stillness. If you're always talking, there's no room for introspection or growth. Silence helps you stay grounded, focused, and in tune with your intuition. Moreover, silence allows your actions to speak for themselves. Instead of constantly talking about your plans, goals, or dreams, let your work be the proof of your ambition. People will start noticing what you're doing, not just what you're saying. When you let your actions speak louder than your words, you exude confidence and certainty. There's no need to explain yourself to anyone. Your results will communicate everything people need to know. If you're always talking about what you plan to do, you risk coming across as someone who talks a big game but doesn't follow through. The more you speak, the more pressure you put on yourself to deliver on what you've said. But when you focus on your actions and let them be the loudest part of your story, you eliminate the need for justification. People will see your progress, and that will speak volumes about who you are and what you stand for. Another significant advantage of embracing silence is the control it gives you over your narrative. Too often we share our struggles, our dreams, and our failures, hoping that others will support us or provide us with guidance. But by speaking too freely, we risk opening ourselves up to unsolicited advice or judgment. Not everyone will understand where you're coming from, and some people may even try to project their fears and insecurities onto you. This can lead to confusion and self-doubt. Silence allows you to control your narrative and protect your story. When you keep your thoughts, goals, and intentions to yourself, you avoid the intrusion of others' perspectives, giving you the space to define your own path without external influence. But let's also acknowledge the fact that silence doesn't mean you are weak, secretive, or hiding something. It doesn't imply that you have nothing to say or that you are unable to communicate your thoughts. Rather, silence is an intentional decision to conserve your energy, protect your vision, and focus on the things that truly matter. It is a choice to be more discerning about what information you release into the world. By speaking less, you allow your inner strength and wisdom to shine through, and that is a form of quiet confidence, a confidence that doesn't need validation from others, but is grounded in your own sense of purpose and direction. In the end, the power of silence is about balance. It's not about becoming mute or withdrawing completely from the world around you. It's about knowing when to speak and when to hold back, understanding that there are moments when silence is the most powerful tool you have in your arsenal. The more you learn to embrace silence, the more you will protect your peace, nurture your energy, and focus on your path with clarity and confidence. Avoid unnecessary sharing. In today's world, it has become almost a reflex to share our thoughts, feelings, experiences, and even our plans with others. Social media platforms encourage us to post everything from our most mundane activities to our most significant milestones. But there's something critical to understand here. Not everything you know, feel, or experience needs to be shared. In fact, sharing too much can sometimes work against you rather than benefit you. The concept of avoiding unnecessary sharing is a cornerstone of protecting your mental and emotional well-being and safeguarding your personal growth. We often share our experiences with the intention of seeking validation, support, or advice from others. It's natural to want to be heard and to feel that our struggles or successes matter to those around us. However, the act of oversharing can leave us vulnerable to the opinions and judgments of others. When you reveal too much about your plans or personal life, you open the door for people, sometimes even those closest to you, to offer unsolicited advice, criticism, or questions. While some of this feedback may be constructive, much of it can be distracting, discouraging, or even harmful. For example, think about a time when you were excited about a new goal or venture and you shared it with someone, only to be met with skepticism or negativity. Perhaps you were met with, "That's not going to work," or "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Those words, though sometimes unintentional, have the power to plant seeds of doubt and derail your confidence. This happens because sharing our goals with others often exposes us to the energy and opinions of people who may not fully understand our vision, our drive, or our circumstances. They may only see things from their own limited perspective, which can skew their advice. It's not that these people wish to harm us, but their perceptions, based on their own experiences or fears, may create more confusion or lead us down a path of self-doubt. There's also an inherent risk in sharing too much because people tend to judge based on surface-level information. When we overshare, we allow others to form opinions about us that might not be accurate. For instance, when you tell someone about your financial struggles, they might immediately begin to view you as someone who lacks stability or foresight. When you share your vulnerabilities, others may see you as weak or incapable, even if you are only seeking understanding or support. By holding back some of the personal details, you maintain control over your own narrative. Not every detail of your life is meant for public consumption. Keeping certain parts of your journey private allows you to stay focused on your personal growth without the external pressures of societal expectations or judgments. Another issue with unnecessary sharing is the potential for people to take advantage of your openness. In the realm of business, relationships, or personal interactions, when you reveal too much too soon, you may inadvertently expose your weaknesses or your plans to those who might use them against you. Competitors, colleagues, or even friends may exploit your vulnerabilities to gain an advantage, whether consciously or unconsciously. This is especially true when it comes to business ideas, career moves, or financial goals. If you are working on a new business idea, for example, sharing it with too many people before you've solidified your plans can result in someone else taking your idea and running with it. The world is full of people who, knowingly or unknowingly, will take what you've shared and use it to their advantage, leaving you with nothing but regret for exposing yourself too early. Avoiding unnecessary sharing also helps preserve your mental and emotional energy. Every time you share something, especially something that's personal or close to your heart, you open yourself up to potential emotional investment. This can be draining, especially if the feedback you receive is not as supportive as you hoped. Constantly seeking validation or advice from others can leave you feeling mentally exhausted and unsure of your own decisions. The more you keep to yourself, the more you give yourself the space to think clearly and independently. It's in these moments of solitude that we often find our most profound insights and ideas. The less you share, the more time you have to reflect, plan, and execute without distraction. Additionally, when you refrain from oversharing, you preserve the mystery around your ambitions. There's something powerful about keeping your goals to yourself and allowing your actions to reveal the results over time. When you don't constantly talk about what you're going to do, you build an air of intrigue and credibility. People are less likely to doubt you because they haven't been inundated with your every move or thought. You become more focused on your objectives and less concerned with what others think about them. Your work, your results, and your consistency become the measure of your success, not the words you've spoken. Furthermore, holding back some of your thoughts and plans encourages discipline and personal integrity. It forces you to rely on your own judgment and intuition instead of constantly seeking reassurance from others. When you share everything with everyone, you risk losing touch with your inner voice and becoming overly dependent on external opinions. This can lead to confusion and even regret when you realize that you spent too much time trying to please others or seeking approval. When you choose not to share unnecessarily, you also protect your peace. We live in a world full of noise, distractions, and opinions, and sometimes the best thing you can do for your own well-being is to tune it all out. By not oversharing, you avoid subjecting yourself to the emotional ups and downs that come with others' reactions. It helps you stay grounded and focused on your own path without the external noise clouding your judgment. In essence, avoiding unnecessary sharing allows you to build a stronger, more resilient foundation for your future. It allows you to cultivate inner strength and self-reliance. It preserves your energy, protects your peace, and ultimately helps you stay true to your vision. It's important to remember that not everyone needs to know everything about you. By keeping some things private, you create the space to develop your ideas, achieve your goals, and protect your emotional well-being from unnecessary interference. The importance of action over words. We live in a world where words are abundant. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone is quick to share it. Social media platforms, blogs, podcasts, and countless other outlets are filled with words. Words that inspire, words that inform, words that entertain. But despite the abundance of words, there's something that often gets overlooked: action. Words can motivate, but actions are what truly matter. The importance of action over words cannot be overstated, especially when it comes to achieving success, building credibility, and creating a meaningful impact. When we talk about our goals, dreams, and intentions, we often get caught up in the excitement of vocalizing them. There's something inherently satisfying about articulating our desires and plans, and it often feels like we're making progress simply by talking about them. But here's the reality. Words alone will not lead to success. Words without action are empty promises. Talking about what you want to achieve without taking the necessary steps to make it happen is a waste of time and energy. Consider the countless people who speak about their big ideas, their plans for the future, or the projects they're going to tackle, yet never follow through. You've probably encountered individuals who have grand ideas, but never seem to get anything off the ground. They talk, they plan, they dream, but they never take action. This is a common pitfall. Talking about your plans is easy. It doesn't require much effort. But acting on those plans, that's where the real work begins. Action requires commitment, discipline, and effort. It means doing the work, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. It means showing up every day regardless of external circumstances and putting in the necessary effort to turn your words into reality. When you focus on taking action rather than just talking about what you want to do, you begin to build real momentum. The more you do, the more you achieve, and the more progress you make. People will begin to see you as someone who gets things done, not just someone who talks a big game. Actions speak louder than words. And over time, your actions will build a reputation of credibility and reliability. One of the most powerful aspects of action is that it leaves no room for doubt. When you act, you prove to yourself and others that you're serious about your goals. Words, on the other hand, can be questioned or doubted. People may question your intentions or wonder if you're really going to follow through on your promises. But when your actions align with your words, there's no question, your results speak for themselves. If you want to be known as someone who achieves, you must show the world through your actions, not your words. Furthermore, taking action helps you learn and grow in ways that words simply cannot. When you act, you encounter challenges, obstacles, and setbacks that teach you valuable lessons. These experiences provide insights that you can't gain through discussion alone. Words might provide inspiration or guidance, but it's through action that you develop the skills, knowledge, and resilience necessary to succeed. Taking action gives you real-world feedback, allowing you to refine your approach, correct mistakes, and improve over time. Words are passive. Action is active. By acting, you engage directly with the world and the challenges it presents, pushing yourself forward and creating opportunities for growth. Another critical aspect of prioritizing action over words is that it helps you avoid the trap of overthinking. When you talk about your plans too much, you may become paralyzed by the fear of failure or the desire for perfection. You start to analyze every detail, seeking the perfect solution or the perfect timing. But waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan can lead to inaction. At some point, you need to take the first step, even if it's not perfect. You learn as you go, and sometimes the most important thing is just starting. Action cuts through the analysis paralysis and propels you forward, even if the path isn't clear from the start. Ultimately, it's the balance of words and action that leads to meaningful results. Speaking about your dreams, sharing your goals, and expressing your intentions can be motivating and helpful, but without the foundation of action, those words are just empty promises. If you want to make a real impact in your life and the lives of others, focus on what you do, not just what you say. Let your actions become the true reflection of your ambitions and your character. Words may spark inspiration, but it's action that creates lasting change. The importance of action over words. In today's society, words are often seen as the most direct form of communication, and with the rise of social media, we are more connected than ever to a constant stream of thoughts, opinions, and plans. It's easy to get caught up in this cycle of talking about what you want to achieve, sharing your goals with others, or even inspiring others with your words. However, despite the prevalence of words and their role in motivating people, there is a crucial aspect that is often overlooked: action. While words can provide inspiration, it is ultimately the actions we take that lead to tangible results and true success. This is the truth that many people fail to grasp. Words without action are empty, while actions speak volumes about who you are and what you're truly capable of. Action has the ability to build momentum in ways that words never can. When you talk about your goals or ideas, it feels good, doesn't it? It's a form of expression that makes you feel as though you're moving forward. But the reality is that talking is not progress. It's just that, talk. Anyone can talk about what they want to do, but it's in the doing that real change occurs. Imagine this: someone shares a vision about starting a business, writing a book, or getting fit. But after countless discussions, the work never begins. You may have heard about their goals 1,000 times, but if they don't take concrete steps, those words will remain